Was this cake not literally the best thing about being in school? Come and make school cake with me. I started off by creaming together 200 grams of caster sugar and 200 grams of baking spread. I use Stork, and I believe this is the first time I've ever used baking spread to make a cake. Then I went in with a tablespoon of vanilla extract and 3 eggs. So I weighed the eggs in their shells before adding them to the batter. And for this recipe, I just did equal measurements of everything. So equal measurements of flour, sugar, baking spread, and an egg. So the egg amounted to 200 grams. So for everything else, I just added 200 grams of each element. Element just sounds so scientific. Who do I think I am? Each ingredient. And then I just added the eggs one at a time before just whisking them in with the batter. Then I sifted in 200 grams of self-raising flour. Alternatively, you could use plain flour and some baking powder. And I just folded the flour in until it was just combined. Then I went in with 2 tablespoons of soy milk. I am not a dairy girl, so I try to avoid dairy where I can. And then finally, I just continued folding just to incorporate the milk. And you want to be careful not to overmix the batter, as this keeps it light and airy. Then I just lined a 9-inch squared baking tray with some parchment paper and just poured the batter in. And I just gave the tray a tap on the surface just to level everything out. I baked this on 160 degrees fan for 30 to 35 minutes, just until a toothpick came out clean with no wet batter on it. And then I made up my icing. So I used 300 grams of icing sugar with around 2 tablespoons of soy milk. And you can just add the milk until it reaches your desired consistency, but just be careful as the texture can change very quickly. Then I flipped the cake upside down so I could have a nice flat surface to apply the icing. I also let the cake cool for about an hour before adding the icing, as you don't want the icing to melt once you apply it to the cake. Then finally I topped everything off with some sprinkles, and you can just add as many sprinkles as your heart desires. Then I just put the cake in the fridge for about an hour while the icing set. So once I cut into it, it was nice clean cuts. And I just cut this into 9 pieces. And there we have it. That is our school cake. Mind you, this cake only lasted 24 hours in my house, and it's just me and my fiance at home. So this cake went down a treat. It was the first time that I'd successfully made school cake. Last time I used a disposable tray and it overflowed and it was just a disaster. So I'm pleased that it turned out well. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!